So I got a joke for you guys. If you're Indian in the kitchen, you're Australian in the bedroom, what are you in the bathroom? European. Episode 21.
Welcome.
Kevin.
Chris.
Matt.
You are. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Hypothetical person doesn't exist.
We had nothing to talk about this episode.
Can I ask, are we going to have the jingle, or that jingle just like a once off?
Let's do a live version.
Let's do it.
When I was a boy, things were simple then.
So simple.
Now I am a man.
Oh.
Everyone's my friend. Enjoy the show. Good jingle. Follow the jingle.
One of the best.
Heartfelt.
So what's been going on this week since the last episode?
Pretty boring week actually.
Hmm.
But hey, you know what? It's that time of the week again.
It is. Top of the show.
Ongoing coverage. Is when we bring the updates on the mysterious bite in Max 370. As we know, back in February-ish, it disappeared. And as of today, this will go up on Tuesday or Wednesday, but as of the 4th of August, 2014, 8:47 p.m.
Yep.
We still haven't found it. Sorry, guys.
But
We'll let you know if they find it next week.
yeah, so what's easy is if we record it on Mondays and then release it on Thursdays.
Why has that changed, by the way?
Yeah, things change. People change. Circumstances. Inflation of time.
Okay.
So Thursdays is when you can look forward to new episodes.
You know, we're about 5 weeks behind on iTunes to open stack with what it is.
So with that,
I'm just lazy.
that new dude, I forget his name, was all about the podcast.
Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's behind though, so it's going to take a while to catch up, so that's not as much of an issue.
So
Well, that's been the only podcast I know of that actually know all our viewers individually by name.
there's
Henry loves
nobody,
the one version.
and there's no one.
Well, there is Henry and there's us. Yeah, I make a point towards.
Sometimes when I need to get to sleep at night, it's the perfect thing to just knock me out.
What do you think of last week's episode?
Quality wise, I like the video quality. I think
Yes.
got that.
Good quality video.
Great.
Yeah.
It's good. Really colour scheme.
Yeah, me too. I think it's got that like kind of noir with a vampire kind of going.
I think it needs more like good coffee tales.
Yeah. But it's pretty good quality. So if you didn't see what last week, then check it out.
It's quite good.
I guess, can I bring this up because like you're emailing about it, I guess it's a bridge from last week because it came up. I think it's the third week in a row to back from this. Sometimes I don't even really,
talking about it.
I didn't really, well I think I bought them up a few times, but I didn't even really care about them that much, just they've kind of been in the news
I
about
think
it.
they're awesome.
But it was a thing that, was it you who emailed it?
No, it's Kevin. Oh wait, we're not talking about Ghostbusters, are we?
Oh, that's
but-
something as well.
But we can link to that.
Good.
Ghostbusters first or Feminists first?
Well, it's both the same thing. So
Wow.
Ghostbusters is being rebooted with 3 female characters.
Yeah.
Oh, is it official it's going to be 3?
I don't think it's official yet, but that's apparently the idea.
I think if they don't do it, they won't reboot. But if they are, then they'll reboot.
Can I say that? I mean, I don't think that. I mean, I think the movie's going to suck just because reboots suck and it doesn't involve any of the original players. But when you guys get knowing about that, I mean, I don't know if Ghostbusters wasn't a good movie, like mainly because men were in the lead roles. So if they're like,
It was a great movie. You didn't like it?
No, I wasn't saying. I was just saying it
I'm
wasn't. It was not good because.
It wasn't because it wasn't
Yeah,
a man that
right.
made it good. Although Bill Murray.
Yeah, but he happens to be a man, but it's just like he's a
Amazing
very
man.
like. But his funniness doesn't come from his maleness. Like there are plenty of men who are not funny, so his being a penis isn't really that much of a
I
factor.
guess so, yeah.
His having a penis is not really that much of a factor.
See, normally what they do when the main actors get too old and they can't do a reboot with them is they do a prequel and they get younger people playing like Star Trek and whatever.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good point.
But it's probably good they didn't do that in this case if they're trying something different. So I can't hate on them for that. I
I
just
thought
think
that's
it's
actually
too
what
early.
Ghostbusters 3 was going to be.
Prequel.
Was, no, not another prequel, but like the number of Which is would actually be terrible.
And they're all just happen to be girls.
Yeah. Well, no. I think that this is something different. This is a reboot. So.
Although one thing that did make me go, like reading an article, the guy, the director, has worked with like Melissa McCarthy, I think 3 or 4 times in a row now. I don't think Melissa McCarthy as a Ghostbuster would be that great.
I'm not sure.
You don't know who that is?
Oh, she's like a large woman. She's just in a lot of comedies these days. She's in one called The Heat with Sandra Bullock.
Oh, I
It
know who you're
was-
talking about.
yeah.
She's like Molly from that Mike and Molly show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is she going to be a Ghostbuster? Or is she
No,
gonna
that's
be
not
drama?
official. It's just like the director who is doing it.
Well,
He's
well,
worked with her like 3 times in a row now.
Yeah, I don't find it.
So,
Yeah, right. Okay, so it'll be that same kind of comedy.
yeah, which isn't really appropriate for Ghostbusters.
Not
So,
really.
like, if it turned out, if she gets confirmed, I will be a bit skeptical of it.
Unless
It was
it's a
like-
serious role, in which case it would still be bad. It's still more serious actor.
Unless she can pull it off, then might be good.
And it'll be good. And it's Ghostbusters, so they shouldn't really be serious roles to begin with. If you can pick some female comics and like female comics that you'd like to see as Ghostbusters, any ideas?
Shannon Doherty.
It's not really a comic though.
She was on that show about ghosts and stuff.
The kind of the one where
Not
they
Charmed.
scared people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, scare tactics.
Yeah, right.
So I think because of that, she would probably find more of those.
Yeah, it's a pretty vulgar thing, but okay.
I mean, no, the comedy could work. Wasn't she on Saturday Night Live? No, she was. Yeah, no, Saturday Night Live. I'm sure she was
She's
on
Doherty.
it a few times. Yeah, quite a few times. I just remember seeing her in a few skits without the same one.
Isn't she supposed to be like a real bitch? You know, like some reputation. I was thinking Tina Fey is like, I like Tina Fey.
Yeah,
I don't know if she actually suit that role.
She's starting to pass her prime and like acting and everything, but I think.
She's got kind of a smart look though, which kind of because the Ghostbusters are intelligent, aren't they?
In those one super nerdy one, the tall one with the glasses.
Okay, right. So
Maybe super nerdy with Big Bang Theory, the chick with the glasses. No, not the main chick, the one like John Swan. I can't think of her name.
Okay.
Howard's girlfriend.
Yeah.
She'd be a good, Howard's girlfriend from Big Bang Theory. She'd probably be a
Yeah,
good,
alright, well, there's the 3.
yeah.
Okay.
Were there 3 Ghostbusters?
Four, like the 4 was a black guy.
Oh, yeah.
So who's a black comedian? Would be
They'll
good.
probably do Jamie Foxx.
You know,
He's the last one that remains, in my opinion. Who else?
He's not a girl.
No, comedian.
Oh, sorry,
yeah. I'm gonna go. You know what? Rising star. I'm gonna tap for the role of black female in Ghostbusters. Miss Pat.
You talked about her before, I still didn't confuse it. Alright.
I don't really have to bring it before. I'm just like,
She was on probably the late night shows or something.
No. She's just a comic at the moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty
she
sure
was
she
just
does
on
that.
Joe Rogan, and she. I first heard about her on the Irish Affair, and she's like a black comedian woman who's got like a hardcore history. Like, she had 2 children by the age of like 15 or something.
Yeah, give it that.
Yeah, give her that role. Give her
She
that role.
deserves it.
She deserves it. She's had a rough life. And she's very funny. So yeah, it's going to be Tina Fey, Miss Pat, chick from Big Bang Theory.
Does she have the first name? Out of curiosity?
Chick from Big Bang Theory.
No, Miss Pat.
Patricia.
Ah, I see.
So actually, I think she has the
Pat.
last name.
Miss
Yeah,
Pat.
that's what Miss Pat.
Okay.
So that's what it's going to be, guys. And who will be the other person was?
But you think?
Shane Doherty.
Jen Doherty. Jen Doherty, chick from Big Bang Theory, Tina Fey, and Miss Pat.
The 2 other
I don't
sequels.
even watch
We
that
called
movie.
it.
I don't think I would watch that movie.
Me neither. It sucks.
Well, you're the one who chose the Big Bang Theory chick, so.
Yeah. But I mean, together they don't really work. I can't see them having a good acting chemistry.
Maybe we can just make it Tina Fey and be like Ghostbuster.
Could be, whatever. Maybe we could do a different spin from the ghost's point of view.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. Like Slime story.
Yeah, maybe I'd watch that.
The secret of the slime.
Did anyone watch the cartoon? No,
I did. I didn't watch Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters
Yeah.
cartoon. I watched not there were 2. There was like the real Ghostbusters, and then there was like the other one, which was kind of more quirky. They had like a talking car and a talking chimpanzee. Another chimpanzee was a gorilla. No? That one was quite good. That was probably.
I mean, I can't remember what I was watching. I just remember there was a cartoon. But,
I was actually quite into that one.
we talked about how there used to be like an Ace Ventura cartoon, a Dumb and Dumber cartoon, and all that.
Right,
In the mask.
Like,
The mask.
yeah. That
I
was a
watched
good one.
Mask,
That was a
but
good one.
That one was quite good, yeah.
Yeah, every like Jim Carrey movie got made into a cartoon.
Yeah, right. I didn't know Dumb and Dumber was a cartoon. That would have
Yeah.
been. I don't know. I don't think I enjoyed the movie.
Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura were both like kind of crappy, like just cashing ones. But they don't do that anymore. They don't make cartoons that are not anymore.
Well, although Guardians of the Galaxy, the new Marvel movie, there's a cartoon series playing for that. So I'm pretty excited about that.
It's got amazing reviews too, like, and $92 million. How to make $92 million? Was there already like a comic or something that was really well known?
Well, it's not that it was Guardians of the Galaxy had a massive cult following, but it actually it wasn't as big as like something like the Avengers or anything like that.
Yeah,
Just
$92 million. That is a
one.
huge weekend.
They basically took a massive chance making it. It was like throwing dice and hoping for events. So it was a big gamble.
They got.
Oh yeah, it's one of those movies.
Awesome movie. Just saw it in IMAX 3.
Oh, you've already seen it?
Yeah.
So it's
Best movie I've seen this year.
Yeah.
It's Lego movie?
Sorry?
It's Lego movie?
Yeah, both are they're both very different movies.
I've actually seen one.
I'll say both of those were one.
Better comparison would be the Avengers because it's got like like the big name actors in there, like all the
I guess the big question, John Stamos, how many?
9.5.
9.5 John Stamos, and he doesn't give 10.
So that's best movie.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think it's just good that like you go see the Avengers or whatever, it gets overtaken by the characters and the action movies. But this was like on paper, taking photos away, it's a good story. Very much like
and not taking a chance because it was such a it was not a traditional superhero movie. It was very much like a space movie, like a space drama.
You know who's in it? Vin Diesel, next to Batista, the ex-wrestler.
Oh really?
A guy who so he's like a rock and roll wrestler, like a professional wrestler, and all of a sudden he's in this like huge movie.
Does The Rock still do things? Oh yeah, he was in with Mark Wahlberg in the movie recently.
He's in Hercules.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Oh.
It's just coming out.
Here you go. Alright, just came
What's
out.
it called?
Yeah, it's actually. I was just saying he's going to be on the WrestleMania 30. He's making new stuff.
Oh, he's coming back to The Rock.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a good one. Steve Austin as well.
Stone Cold, yeah.
That will be really good.
But how old is Stone Cold Steve Austin these days? He was already kind of long in the tooth, wasn't he? One of the older one.
And he's like, both his knees are blown out. I think he's got like a back, like his arm there and shit.
Yeah, people give wrestlers a hard time because it's fake. First of all, like, everybody already knows that. It's just like pointing out the obvious. Secondly, like, yeah, a lot of shit goes into that. Like, okay, they're not actually punching each other, but they're like jumping off the rooms and like, standing on their back. Obviously kind of breaking their fall and everything, but it's very physical. Like, they go through quite a lot.
And they're big names, they wrestle every like 2-3 days.
Yeah.
So you're gonna, even just like a slight bump every 3 days, it's gonna eventually build up and shit.
That's true.
Look after yourself, wrestlers.
Yeah.
Who's the famous ones now? Because they don't have like The Undertaker, they don't have like Mankind.
I think the Undertaker's still in there. One of the
Oh, really?
iterations of the Undertaker. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it wouldn't be the mask, it was
Yeah, that was. Oh wait, no, there was Kane. Yeah,
What was the
Barry
name?
Alive.
What Mick Foley? What was his character? Was it Mankind? Yeah. So do they still have Mankind or no? There's no The Rock. There's no Steve Austin. Like who are famous wrestlers?
No, I've actually not. I've kind of got another watching.
So this new company TNA started up, and all the because they're more independent than WWE. So all the big names that were fed up with McMahon, like the one that was running corporately, went to TNA.
Okay.
And I think TNA just got like a cult home. It's not network TV or whatever. So
Right.
the big names aren't big anymore, but they're happy with what they're doing.
Right.
I remember Coke Everywhere.
Yeah, with the parrot.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it was one of the best.
I think he died with it.
Oh, really?
So did you do it in Best Boss?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, the less famous guy.
As he's.
That sucks.
I was trying to get to do what is anything.
I can't think of it. He was in The Crow though. I remember that. He played the
Was that whole movie cursed? Too gone already.
Dude, but he was like 80. He was like in the 70s or whatever. Like
Yeah. I don't know if it was natural causes.
Yeah, I don't
think he was that old, was he?
Oh, 80's probably pushing it. Well, I don't know, Bill Murray's like, he only 80, but Bill Murray is like,
never die.
when he like,
Miles
He's
Miles
awesome.
Miles Murray.
He's immoral.
You know Bill Murray's
that's
sibling?
kind of-
I don't know.
He's an immortal figure.
I've heard some good stories about Bill Murray just rocking up to people's parties and just crashing the party.
Oh, yeah,
Bill Murray,
absolutely.
like, yeah, you are. And they just chill with him the whole night.
Did anyone see? Did anyone see? Well, there was one Bill Murray story I read, which this might just be a fake meme, but like someone said that like Bill Murray walked up to them in McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever, had a bunch of their fries, ate them, and was like non-livable.
Yeah.
And like I don't know if that actually happened or if that's just kind of something someone made up.
Sounds like something.
But
to do,
that would be it would be Harold Ramis was the guy who died recently. And he was 69 years old, which is like a bit young, but not.
Well, he was the black guy.
No, he was the guy. He's the guy who died this year.
Oh, okay.
Did anyone see though this was real? The Tom Hanks one where this kid passed out in a bar, and so like Tom Hanks found him passed out, got his friend to like take a picture of him like with his arm around the going like. And like just kind of put the phone back in his pocket so no one can get it. So the next day he wakes up with it.
Wow.
Oh, that's excellent.
And just photographic proof. So
Nice.
That's really good.
Yeah, Tom Hanks' son is an actor.
yeah, he's in the Fargo series.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
And,
watched that,
Dexter.
yeah.
His eye struck me lots of Dexter.
Oh, so he is. No, he wasn't the Astruck Killer. He was one of the Doomsday guys. Astruck Killer was
They look very similar.
the guy with the guy when they were going around and they were like it was like a demon like kind of the James almost was the other guy, the old guy, and then Colin Hanks.
Tom Hanks is
I didn't even make a connection to it.
They look very similar.
I didn't even know the Astruck Killer was like Hispanic or something.
No, Colin Hanks and Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah. They do.
But no, you're right. The art structure killer does have that kind of tone. It's
Well, look that up.
You know, who else has a kind of famous son? I don't know how famous he is, but Nicolas Cage. Have you heard about his crazy death metal son that he has?
No, so his son isn't famous. He's just.
He's well, I don't know. He's infamous.
People go to see him because he's his son.
Yeah, pretty much. He's in like this gothic death metal band.
I'm surprised. I mean, like.
That's correct.
I think it's very similar. It's basically acting. Right? You're not like that in real life. You're acting.
I think he's like that in real life. I think that's the point. I've seen a photo with him side by side in the cage and he's just dressed like him all the time.
Do you think that looks like Tom Hanks?
A little bit.
Also,
In his heyday.
Richard Ramirez.
It does. It does look like Richard Ramirez. Like I will give you that. I don't think Richard Ramirez looks very much like Tom Hanks. You know. No, it's fine. I know. I don't think so. But each their own.
Yeah.
So we're gonna rag on feminists.
Go for it.
I don't know. I mean, like I didn't
So
see the
you're-
article. I don't. First of all, I don't really.
No, let me preface this. I'm the one who sent the article around. It wasn't against feminists. It was feminists saying that there's better ways of bettering everybody than just focusing on this is where women are woes and
You saying it wasn't against feminists, but the hashtag is called Women Against Feminists. So.
sensationalism. Yeah. What did you get out of the article?
Just that being anti-feminist doesn't mean you're anti-woman. I think there is sort of a stereotype, particularly among feminists, that all women who aren't like, who are, reasonably educated, who aren't like are basically feminists, which isn't true. Feminism is a very specific sort of cultural movement. So it's nice to kind of undercut that. Because it does feel like if you criticise feminism, you're sort of like participating in the gender wars, which I don't think is the case.
But that's my exact point. There shouldn't be a gender war. It should be like this is a problem. It doesn't matter who it affects. Let's fix this problem. No, this is a bunch of people. Let's try to move these people above these people. Like you solve the problems, you don't solve the problems of community.
I'd be happy to support feminism. Call myself a male feminist if you're talking about like. Shouldn't be in here.
No, but it's not.
But
you can feel that way. But I think
I'm just saying that like if you're defining feminism as like a movement that tries and like lobbies to have mutual respect and as equals, like having the right to vote, and having
But
equal
but
pay
to
for
say
equal work, and
but to
everything,
say treat a woman or treat a Hispanic or whatever as an equal, then you're already saying they're not equal because you're sectioning them off.
and they're saying you're not treating them equally. But anyway,
So you say treat everybody equal, and if that happens to help my pocket, then you know.
I don't know, it has nothing to do with it. I'm just
Not
saying,
pocket,
I'm
but like
just
the
saying
pocket
that
society.
broadly speaking, I'd be happy to agree with feminism, like in that description. But what feminism is, modern feminism is, you know, the idea of like brain culture and so forth. Like I don't subscribe to any of that quite frankly nonsense. So that's basically.
It was funny because you had all these people with signs posting up on social media, girls with that hashtag.
Yeah.
The yes or woman one.
No, the anti.
Oh, the woman against women.
And I just thought it was just that was so intertwined that it was lots
It
of
was
reasons.
interesting.
Yes, I think it is good to see, like, it kind of underscore that being a woman who is somewhat intelligent doesn't automatically make you a feminist. It's not. I got like once, I was at a bar like a few weeks ago, several weeks ago now, with my friend and like some of his mutual friends about, got in a conversation with like some chick that was with him. And I don't know how feminism came up, but somehow I brought up feminism.
Of course.
As I tend to, I guess, for some reason. But she's giving me an ear beating about how bad feminism is. I mean, she went on a fucking rant. So, you know, they're out there.
That's interesting. The thing is, in that natural evolution, there, it's like they can't, you know, it can't be, the message can't be feminism for, you know, so long. It has to eventually change and morph into something else. Because it, like, you know, like, sort of the not the, everything sort of just changes after a while. Like, not everyone's gonna, like, one thing's gonna get old and something else has to kind of redefine. Like, so there's something new to, basically.
My whole problem with it is that whenever somebody's like, well, is me, look at this person who's privileged, help us get to your level, then that's just like, it just muddles everything around. It should just be like, you either help yourself or you help everybody, you don't just help somebody get above somebody else. Because then you're putting that person down whether or not they're above you or not. It's kind of productive in my opinion.
Victim mentality.
Exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Nobody should be
I
able to.
agree.
What
Okay.
else?
What else? You see, I'm wearing a Nirvana t-shirt. So when I went into work, isn't that great when someone, like, you and someone else have like a similar t-shirt?
Yep.
So one of my supervisors is wearing a Nirvana t-shirt, and brought it out. Like, it's always nice when same shirt with somebody.
Except when it's exactly the same shit. When it's like, it's your
Yeah. We'll try to change, but yeah.
I saw something. I don't know if you saw, but if you would have saw it, you definitely remember it. This guy, Paul George, who plays in the NBA basketball, snaps his leg.
Oh, on the court?
Did you see that?
Oh, no.
Yeah, like he was playing for the national team at the time.
Yeah.
Jumps, fouled a dude and landed on his foot and went to like stop himself, and it just fucked with the whole thing. Snapped like a fucking chicken wing.
Snaps like leg through the bone.
The whole thing just bang. It was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh, so like,
How is that
they
physically possible?
saw it, like, so you saw it quite clearly on the, oh man, I'm gonna have to YouTube that. Like, I want
would advise you
What,
not to.
like,
yeah, but now I kinda have to.
This is recent.
Oh man.
A couple of days ago.
Jesus.
So the Indiana
They had it on the
Pacers-
Olympics recently, didn't they? Like some gymnasts, like, it happens almost every year. But maybe not that often, but quite often, like, a gymnast would land properly and
Yeah, right.
how much pain was visible on, like,
It's just,
As soon as it happened, I'm like, nah, I was like, ripped the cord out of my computer and watching this shit. Especially because he's the star player of the Indiana Pacers who back, and they almost made the finals this year, like, for the first time in a long time. It's star players now. He won't get back to his prime. He's going to take like a couple seasons.
yeah, if they'll ever get back to normal after something like that.
I don't know. It's psychologically good and physically definitely. And this is playing for the US team, so now they're saying like, we don't get any money for this. Like, killing our players. Like, we need to do the education like this.
My flatmate almost chopped his finger off at work. He was a chef in the grinder, like the pasta grinder. This week.
If you don't watch it, what he was doing, or?
I mean, you know, these things happen when you're in a kitchen all day.
So how do you almost do it?
Well, it just like it's kind of got caught in the grinder. And I mean, yeah, just making sure that we go to doctors quite a lot. You know?
Yeah, right.
Things are kind of very tricky. So I guess stay tuned on that one. Hopefully, he's going to come off. He seemed pretty confident that's not going to happen, but
That's pretty full on.
so Mitch, if you're watching, look well.
What were we watching something the other day in Eastern Europe? Fell off and filming Fishman.
Oh, Mars
Mars Attacks.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
bad, movie.
And that was a good movie.
Do you think so?
At the time, but then
I
it was
don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, it was very, knew what it was. Like, it was kind of, it was very making fun of itself, sort of thing.
I
Like,
think
it was-
maybe when it first came out, I was a bit too young to understand the comedy in it, and then now
Yeah,
that
like
I've
when I was a
watched
kid, I thought it
still
was
struggle.
almost serious, but obviously it's not. It's just silliness. But
I think it's almost
it's
kind
like a
of-
big budget B movie. Like this was
Exactly.
this was making a B movie on purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But man, the cast roll was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got Michael J. Fox, you got Jack Nicholson, you got was Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, Jack Nicholson. Who else was there?
Billy Joel.
I think wasn't
Billy
the
Joel.
lady.
Billy Joel. Tom Jones.
Wasn't the lady? Was it Anne Heche? Was she the show?
Probably.
Uh,
But they won.
No, like she's even that big of a name. But
I'm not sure. I thought at first glance I thought it was just about but wasn't that hard. There were a couple of other things as well.
So you guys are watching that.
It was just on. It was there. We weren't exactly watching it. Not really watching it.
Just in the background.
Yeah. More or less, yeah.
Who's the president? That's
Yeah,
not
that's
Fox.
Jack Nicholson.
No, Jack Nicholson was the president, I believe. Michael J. Fox started it before that.
Right. There's someone, the guy that gets his finger bitten off, he was someone too.
But wasn't that Michael J. Fox?
No.
No.
It was Martin Short.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jimmy Wick.
Yeah.
You see Jimmy Wick?
No,
That's a
I
show.
don't know what it is.
It's Martin
Oh,
Short.
it's a show.
In a basket.
Oh,
Is it a movie or a show?
It's a TV show. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Martin Short being Jimmy Wick.
You know, I rewatched just today. Casino.
Yeah, nice.
In fact, I think I brought it up last week. That's why I probably rewatched it. Like, got my head.
Really?
It's like it's actually a very interesting movie. It's the only movie I know of that would be better if it didn't weren't for the existence of another movie. So, you know, Goodfellas.
Yeah.
So Casino was made very shortly after Goodfellas, and it's sort of like Goodfellas except just not as good. Like, the violence is like just a bit too much, whereas Goodfellas is perfect. It's a bit too long, whereas like Goodfellas can drag on and it's quite long. Like it's like it's like Goodfellas except it's got like the flaws that Goodfellas doesn't have. So if Goodfellas didn't exist, it would be one of my favorite movies. Because Goodfellas does exist, I'm like, yeah. But it's still very good. Like, you know, Goodfellas is my favorite movie of all time, so it's not saying much.
Casino is Chino.
No, it's De Niro and
Oh,
Joe
so
Pesci.
good.
It's again very similar cast. I do recommend it, despite what I just said. That is not really that much of an insult because I'm saying it's not as good as my favorite movie of all time. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I did say about every single other movie. So
Yeah.
but I recommend watching it in 2 goes.
Just back.
No, I just watch half of it, then watch the next half the next day because it's
Oh,
quite long.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's one thing. I don't really have a lot of time to do on movies anymore, unless it's super like I think is a good example. The whole thing was just CGI.
How long was it?
I felt like it went pretty long. So it was
I
about,
don't know.
I don't know. I think it was bordering on 3, close to.
You know, another movie that would have been good if I cut them, but Wolf of Wall Street.
That's actually an amazing movie. I disagree.
You know, it's 3 hours on the nose.
Oh wow! See, some like that's what I'm saying. Some movies it doesn't feel like 3 hours at all. Like that one for me, just start to end, was because it kind of drew you in straight away.
I liked it, but man, I mean, like most 3 hour movies, I feel it. And to give you some perspective, okay, Goodfellas is like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and that covers like a decade of like their life.
Yeah.
Also, another Oscar-nominated film that year, 12 Years a Slave, which covers 12 years of slavery,
An hour and a
very
half.
serious. Yeah, it's like an hour and 40 minutes. Yet, like a bunch of cokehead, like you know, Wall Street full of people, and like that's 3 hours. You couldn't tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Especially because it's like basically a comedy. How many 3 hour comedies are there?
It does take a dark turn throughout though. We're giving the movie away. You should watch it.
I'll watch it eventually.
Yeah, it's
I recommend it.
Where I would have cut a movie is the last 15 minutes of Goodfellas, where he sells out. Gets his
But that's what happened.
Yeah, no, that's really the point. Because it's almost like he gets the easy way out. He should have been like, you know, dealt with it, and that's the lesson of the movie.
And then so just end with him being whacked or whatever.
Or ambiguously like fade out or whatever. I mean, not just
Again,
like
it's a true story. So you can put that in there.
fade out. It's a bonus song.
It's like
That wasn't even a
yeah,
fade out. It was
yes,
just a
but-
bump.
You can do that with Sopranos, though, because Sopranos wasn't a real story. But what's my point on? But the ending of like Goodfellas is iconic. I actually the best of my life as a schmo. It's like a classic ending.
It doesn't have to endorse it.
Well, I guess not, but it's heroes.
The end of Scarface, that's how it should end. Like the rising
Again, not a real story. It's not a real person.
Yeah, but
story.
it makes a good.
They have licensed it.
It makes a
Yeah,
good movie.
I thought they
It's
based it
moral.
on like Pablo Escobar or something.
Well, yeah, but you can base it on someone without having to do it exactly.
Then what's a true story though? Like there's so
When
many
it's
different
based
things.
on an actual history as opposed to Pablo Escobar, where if he was called Pablo Escobar, without Pablo Escobar, it's like, well, okay, he can't be in Miami and it can't be because that's not what happened. But if it's like a prototype of code, it's inspired by
it's true.
Well, old mate, the two that died at the end of Goodfellas. You know? His character name? As far as I can remember that.
What? Sorry, what was the question?
My point is, his character isn't a real character. Isn't a real person.
Who is it?
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. The characters in Goodfellas are real people.
Henry Hill is a real person. Jimmy Conway is a real person. The Joe Pesci character is sort of like based on two people. What they took some liberty with that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Alright. I'll take
Also,
what I said.
another thing, Joe Pesci and Ray Liotta's character.
Ray Liotta, so it's important.
Henry Hill and what's the name of it? Whoever Joe Pesci's back, the name of. Give him it's my favorite movie, it's pretty bad. But they're the same age. Like Joe Pesci and Ray Liotta are not the same age, like almost 20 years apart.
Mm.
But in the movie, they're just like, fuck it. Like, we didn't really try and make them look like much younger, just, you know. Anyway,
Speaking of people who don't age, Arnold Schwarzenegger's in his new ads.
Oh, I've seen that.
People, I don't. It's for some.
Realestate.com.au?
It's some. Yeah, domain or something.
Was it domain? I thought it was just real estate. It was one of those two. It was interesting.
I don't know, it's like an Australian ad. They got Schwarzenegger like making himself.
Seems like the trend at the moment. A lot of Australian probably getting overseas actors.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, there's another one as well.
just Samuel Jackson and ad at the moment.
Gambling. Sports bet.
Pro gambler.
That's why sports bet, yeah.
But yeah,
Sports pro
Schwarzenegger just
gambling.
rocks up and just makes fun of himself, like makes
Makes
himself
himself
look like
false
he's
suicide.
stupid. Yeah.
Pretty much.
He's already done that a lot in this credit.
Yeah, I was going to say, hasn't he been doing that for the past like
He doesn't
decade?
need the money. He doesn't need to do this.
That's probably why he's doing it.
Thing is, though, he always needs the money. Like, Brad Pitt does those stupid cologne commercials and everything.
But that's a status thing.
But I just think it's like whenever they want an extra bathroom or whatever, they're like, well, I could like get my nest egg put in, or I could just go and do this for Chanel.
I don't remember exactly what the content was, but apparently watching I think it was ridiculous. Like, he just does this some really.
You listen to Joe Rogan, was it Joe Rogan making fun of it? Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's way too corny.
Yeah, it was terrible. I can't actually think
You
of
are
any of the
always
words,
with
but-
me.
Yeah, it was something.
Like, it's kind of like voiceover, like.
But it wasn't only 2 or 3 words, it was long, and it was like, you shouldn't be speaking this long for it's strange.
The world turns.
Yes.
Like, there was a good line Joe Rogan was like, the door opens, you close the door. But sorry.
Puff Daddy PG that used to have we tried to launch this cologne line with the same kind of feel as those things. It was black and white ads with it. It was just ridiculous.
Was it in soon?
Vote or Die, South Park worked there really well. Vote or Die campaign. Good point, what a terrible name for it. Vote or Die.
They thought the kids would love it.
Yeah.
I don't know, was it successful or not?
Not really, I don't think those things ever are sort of public awareness campaigns. Just for show. Yeah, has there ever been like a sort of just a raise awareness sort of campaign that's actually had a measurable, like, real impact? I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Usually just die off after a while. They've reached that
Exactly, like everyone
popularity
kind of
and
gives
it's
themselves a pat in the back and then like they subside again.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
I guess the stuff that really makes an impact is not on the TV, because if you reach a lot of people, but you don't change your mind. So stuff like having Hamlin's, Peter stuff and all that works really good in their communities. We don't hear about it. Like, set on forecast twice, so we hear about it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that always works. Neither for or against, but that's the thing.
We probably should have come up with some things to talk about before we started.
Oh no, this is fine. Anybody got any opinions on Israel and Palestine, the whole Gaza thing?
I don't really understand what's going on, to be honest.
No, I'm trying to
I want to
understand.
not have an opinion on like something I don't really get. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do enlighten us.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I shouldn't have brought it up because I don't really want to have an opinion either. I don't really.
No, not even opinions. Tell me what's going on even. I just don't understand. I know that there's some crazy power struggle. I don't understand why.
Back after World War II, everyone was like, man, the Jews, they got it pretty bad. And the Jews like, yeah. And they're like, well, do you want to have your own country? And you're like, that would be nice. And they were thinking like, what was basically Palestine, or Canada, or Australia, funnily enough, were on the table. Like, take some of either land in one of those places. But the thing is, like, Jerusalem and everything is quite important in the Bible, so the Jews really wanted Palestine. Which, thinking back, it's a shame, because I'm sure, especially if it was Canada, like, it'd probably be pretty bad if it was in Australia, because we are pretty racist, but Canada, like, they've already got like a multi-cultural, they've got like French Canada and like Canada, and they're all pretty liberal and getting along. If Israel was put somewhere there, it'd be colder, the climate wouldn't be as good, but overall things would be a bit lot nicer. But the Jews really wanted Palestine places, so they're like, alright, you can have it. And the Palestinian people were like, what the fuck? You know, it's our land, you're kicking us out of our homes. And that's pretty fair. But shit happens, and it's been like 65 years now. It's been several generations, so it's kind of, get over it.
So, but why is it escalating now? All of a sudden,
Well, it's been continually, like, again, like, I'm out of my depth here. But basically, there's all kinds of factors. First of all, Muslims and Jews don't really like each other to begin with, and that goes back a while. But also, like, there's a lot of dispute over, like, how much land Israel should have, and like it sort of like thinks them off into these certain rather confined areas like the Gaza Strip is very confined. So there are problems on that part, and then there are also problems with the fact that, quite frankly, a lot of Palestinians, including Hamas, who are in charge really of the area at this point, don't really want Israel to exist. Full stop. So it's kind of hard to negotiate. But I guess if you're boiling down to what's going on right now, I guess the problem is that Israel launched a lot of rockets into places like schools and hospitals, and and like residential areas and stuff. And so there's a lot of like bloodshed and like some horrible pictures like coming out. Everyone's going, "What the fuck, Israel?" But there is a counterpoint to that: is that Hamas deliberately fire rockets from those places so that when Israel retaliates, they get the bad PR. So the huge ethical argument around that, I mean, no one's saying that Hamas is being ethical, but there's a huge, like, who is more in the right with that taken into account.
I've never heard of anything like that before. It's quite interesting.
And they also, like, Israel tries and warns, I mean, like, not like this would be much. Like, if it was your house, like, you would be like, oh, wow, it's very nice of you to give me a heads up when you're going to bomb it. But, like, Israel may make an attempt to try and, like, let people know this is going to happen. Whether it's Hamas deliberately tell people to stay home, like, so they can get that PR. Israel doesn't do the equivalent of that. Like, most of their spending is actually on defense, whereas most of, like, Palestine's funding is on, like, killing Israelis. Obviously, Israel is way more effective at killing Palestinians because they do have like the infrastructure and everything. But again, there's like a huge, it's very
So
difficult.
how does it end? Can they move both of them somewhere else? Or
No, it doesn't really end. That's the whole problem with it. It's hard to. I had a conversation with a comic once about it, who actually studied the whole conflict for like 2 years or whatever, like a BA on it. And place, and so stayed for that long, so the whole thesis and everything, and basically what we walked away with after it was these guys just fucking hate each other. Like, it seems like a pretty unsolvable. Yeah. But anyway, what I just gave was a very, very broad. Like, I'm not really that much. I've only started reading about it this week, so what I just said might be a little more side in favour of Israel than I really should be. I haven't read that much about the detail of the conflict, but that's the situation as I can understand it.
Wow.
With most things like that, I think that if they're so stuck in their ways, you almost let them play it out, and then just let the younger generation have all the information, and they make up their mind if they want to keep the tradition on, and you just hope it doesn't keep going.
Well, is that pretty much what's going on there? I don't think like overseas companies are intervening.
Oh well, America is intervening just in the sense that they supply Israel pretty much all their money.
Yeah, right.
Like America put them there, so like they're quote unquote their strongest ally. Even though when like John Kerry whatever is trying to broker peace talks, Israel don't really give them an inch. Like they, for being their greatest ally, Israel kind of takes to the US, but they don't really like to bend at all. There was actually but then again, there's arguments on the other side that they shouldn't have to ban, and that Israel really has done more right and violence can make all kinds of information arguments the other way. I saw a good editorial cartoon. Again, I'm not necessarily saying I agree with the message in this. I'm not as educated as I could be, but it was still a clever cartoon and very much pro-Israel. It's basically like a Hamas guy standing there with a sheet of paper, and it says like death to all Jews, and John Kerry, the United States Secretary of State guy, is like coming to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli minister, and he's going, can't you like meet him halfway?
Yeah. Well, the last 10 minutes I've known 800% more than me before, so
That's pretty heavy stuff.
sucks.
Oh, yeah, it makes you wonder about all of that. But then you wonder,
I
like,
wish I could
what
move
do
to
you mean?
Canada, because that would probably, like, if I had to do that, which totally not, obviously, but
Just move both.
how would that help? Yeah,
The
but
Canadians go.
no,
move one to
there's
Canada,
tons of
so-
barren land on Canada.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
A little, I'm pretty sure they're not. I mean,
It's
Australia would be
assuming
good too
you
because we
want
get
to
the
see-
outback and the similar climate, but we're so
Australia
racist,
would
we'd
be
never
outback.
be okay with it. They'd be like, back in years, like, that would be mixed logical.
That's true.
Not
quite
yet.
Sorry,
famous
dudes, you
racism,
can't
like
come
that.
here. It's not nothing to do with me. I'd have you, but it's just not realistic.
Not in current times.
You know,
Hopefully later on.
way too limited. Sorry.
That was good. Thanks for the history lesson on the update on it.
No drama. You
Mm.
can't.
Very good.
And that other the other plane, the MH17.
Oh, I was just gonna say
taken
that.
down.
Yeah,
Right.
apparently they finally got into the crash site now after a lot of obstruction.
I forgot all about that actually. Ukraine and Russia.
You know what? It's interesting you've forgotten all about it. It's because the news has stopped pretty much talking about it.
Yeah.
Because that in itself is always interesting to me when that happens.
What was the other one like that? There was one that was a huge story and then it stopped being a huge. Oh, it was Syria.
When they were all going to bomb Syria.
Yeah.
They're like, no, don't. Okay, well, we'll stop talking about
They actually do kind of know that went away, but it was funny how it was. Anyway, finish your point about the MH17.
Yeah, well, that was pretty much my point. It's just interesting that, something, once it's out of the media, it's like,
Sucks to be anymore.
yeah, it's been put out, but more interesting, it's not in the media for a reason. Like, that's what I've just seen some really harebrained ideas. People are saying that the MH370 didn't actually exist, or no, the MH17 didn't actually exist, and it's actually the 370 that's crashed.
I
Yeah.
think you've seen that conspiracy theory.
I've said a lot of things. Maybe one of them.
Maybe
Because,
you've seen the email. I saw it too.
Yeah. Like, apparently the bodies that they found were already like weeks decomposed, and then the pristine, immaculate passports. Like, how did everything burn up? These plastic, like, paper passports, why were they in immaculate condition? It's a whole bunch of inconsistencies.
And that's why it took so long to get through the precaution tape and shit.
But you just said it was harebrained. Now it's happening.
Well, I don't. I'm not defending it. I'm just like saying what these people were claiming. And then apparently the MH17 was cancelled that day, and they've got there's a photo of the actual flight showing it's cancelled on the rating, like on the flight charts and things like that.
Yeah, sure, that can happen all the time though.
It could, yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's a bit far fetched though, but it was just interesting.
But to get back to your point, it's interesting all of a sudden. It's like, let's not talk about it anymore. next story.
Yeah, and with the Syria thing, because that's a funny one. Again, I might be getting the details slightly wrong in this, but I think this is basically the synopsis. So Assad's like gassing his own people, and Obama's like, "We're not going to stand for this. We can't let this slide." It's like the idea of invading is very unpopular in the US because, like, you know what, like someone gets really unpopular thing with the right thing, we're not going to allow this. And basically, it was an impossible situation. It's like, well, we're not going to do a full ground invasion because they can't afford to get rah. If they do just some bombings, well, you know, like they'll clean up and go back to whatever they want. Like, there was no good solution. And the whole crisis got avoided basically because John Kerry, who we was talking about, made a mistake. Like, he fucked up and said the wrong thing, and so the whole thing got. So what basically happened is that John Kerry was doing some talks, doing some press conferences and the whole thing. And at one point, someone asked the question, is there anything that Assad could do to like stop himself from getting like invaded or whatever? And Kerry's like, yeah, sure. Like he could hand over all of his like weapons arsenal without condition. He could do that, as in like, no. Like, we're gonna, yeah. But he was like, he goes, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
And you're like, what, seriously? And he's like, yeah, seriously. And so he agrees, like the UN will inspect to make sure that it's done. But that's what happened. And so, no.
Yeah.
Because Kerry said something he wasn't supposed to say, he fucked up. The whole crisis got avoided.
More of that.
I thought it was like the American people as well. They had like a really massive, strong opinion.
Oh, yeah,
about
no, it
Russia
was very
and
unpopular.
overturned it as well.
It was very unpopular. I mean, Obama was pretty much set to go, and like he would like to avoid it if possible, like because obviously it was going to be very unpopular, but it didn't seem like it was going to be possible.
Yeah.
And then like just lightning struck. Yeah.
And then it was when the woodworkers was good.
What are we running on?
47.
Okay.
But you know, what we were speaking about before, saying it's not in the media, you don't hear about this. A lot of people, like on the ground people with Twitter or whatever, you can get the news.
That's true, yeah. That's another article I was reading on the same thing, yeah, MH17. Apparently a lot of the information that was found were sort of from just like private like journalists that like not actually work with them, just on the ground journalists and like working together on a system on a computer. And that's how a lot of the information came up, how they were able to, just based on photos that were taken and stuff, they were able to locate the areas in which the photo was taken and where the supposed missile launcher was, where it was and where it moved and things like that. And that all came from just like a network of like online sort of, like
Freelance.
freelance journalists, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
So if information is available, it's under no circumstances you can find it.
Yeah.
It's just it's not just going to be, it won't be broadcasted out. You have to look for it.
Yeah.
So things like Twitter is great for that. I think like there's a whole fun element in like Justin Bieber's on Twitter actually, but there's also like a really serious thing where it is actually a computer design well.
That's true.
Hey, that's something we can talk about. Justin Bieber update.
Oh,
Because we're always talking about the Biebs.
yeah.
But yeah, Belinda Bloom punched
Why
him.
not the show? So
He took a swing at him. I don't know if he actually punched on, did he? Did that actually happen?
I don't know if he actually punched him. I don't know.
I kind of wish he did. I hate that Justin Bieber kid.
He
Apparently,
just-
DiCaprio was there as well.
Oh,
Yeah, DiCaprio was like, yeah. Oh, that's a scene.
There was it was Belinda Bloom.
Yeah.
There was a headline like Bloom jumps couch, hits Bieber, DiCaprio cheers. That was the headline. So I'll read this.
Wasn't there some video of it?
Dodgy,
Yeah.
dodgy.
I don't know what.
Okay. Was it made out what people were saying? Was that what was reported as being said?
No,
Sound like
it's
him
just-
being a typical little shit. Like, it also like kind of like inadvertently really making fun of himself because the idea that Miranda Kerr would fuck Justin Bieber was absolutely
So it was about.
absurd.
Yeah, I think so. That was the headline, something like that, fuck a girl or something like that. That's what he
Yeah,
said.
tell her I said hi. It's like Justin, you didn't fuck.
I reckon you said that.
Right.
I
No one.
wonder if he's ever going to get back into music.
I'm actually surprised Orlando Bloom tried to punch him because that almost needs some credibility. He's in the top position, which I just, but dude, you know, he's really out of puberty. And Randy
Probably
Kerr's
was
like-
just more that. It's like, you pesky
Yeah.
kid. Who the fuck do you think you are? I think it's good.
Yeah.
It makes me like him. Feel like, let's should have shot him with an arrow.
Oh yeah, I'm not blaming Orlando Bloom. Good, yeah. Did you see the Seth Rogen Justin Bieber feud as well? Oh, he just overtly and just called him a little shit. And his thing, like, this is a good way of putting it. he was saying like he compared him to say Zac Efron because like Seth Rogen like I mean Zac Efron, and he was like when like I first day on set when I first met Zac Efron, you got the impression he was cognizant of the fact that he's Mr. High School Musical like teen heartthrob like Seth Rogen has no reason to take him seriously or. So he was kind of modest and
about himself.
Yeah, about himself and kind of like, oh, hey man, like you know. We had that sort of self-awareness, that sort of groundedness, but Justin Bieber is like, yeah, that's right, Justin Bieber, teen heartthrob beads, you're welcome to meet me, like, I think you feel privileged, like, actually had him like brought over, like, because he screwed over, like, bring Seth Rogen over, and then like, when he came, like, act as if Seth Rogen asked to come over, like, this sort of like, it's just the way you kind of put it,
yeah. I'm sure like that's his world. He thinks that's normal.
Has anyone seen that thing between two films with Zach Galifianakis and Justin Bieber?
Oh, I did, and that was like.
Well, that was amazing. I wonder how much of it was staged or if that was actual real.
I imagine 100% fake.
What was the
Staged, and then like credit to Bieber for doing it.
It's Justin Bieber and Zach Galifianakis doing an interview. I don't know. His reactions just did not seem staged to me. He genuinely seemed like he was offended by the whole thing. You haven't seen it?
Oh.
So I recommend it.
It's not one of those cut interviews, is it?
Yeah, it's between two films. So it's no, they're both there.
Oh.
But yeah.
I think you'd have to know because you've got an agent, and the whole point of many films is that like they go around and like berate you and like it's really unpleasant. Like,
Yeah.
So you know.
He might just be a decent actor.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Can't find truth.
Have
in
you
that
seen
statement.
Nathan for You, Chris? That's my favourite comedy, and you can see a bit of it. I can get a bit of it. It's a good in between it. Like you can tell a bit of like. Basically, the idea is that Nathan Fielder goes to help small businesses, and like he's sort of like borderline autistic personality, I guess. Like it's an act, like his persona, but the idea is it always really out of the box. So my favourite one I've done so far was this season. They had a souvenir shop in LA. It was like off the main drag, and it wasn't enough business at all. So his idea to boost their business is like, okay, get some like big movie equipment, make it look like you're filming like a hardcore horror movie. They get like a giant impersonator and everything. So like all these tourists will show up and go, oh, and then what you do is you cast the tourists as extras, and the role you give them is paying customers at the souvenir shop.
Oh wow, that's great.
And so it'll be stuff like that. And what the point I'm getting at is that it's a good example of. You know, you turn to ask, like, is it staged or fake? Nathan View's a good, like, what I assume is a bit of a hybrid, where it's essentially all real,
Right.
you're seeing unfold, but at the same time, it would obviously become very obvious that they're on a TV show, so to an extent, they are sort of participating in being, like, sort of prodded on,
Yeah, right.
you know, so it's a really nice
It's bringing a character into like a real life scenario.
Yeah, it's like using real life to make a sketch. Like the fact that it's maybe not 110% authentic, that doesn't really change anything. It doesn't matter. If it was 100% staged, that would be an issue. But I think it's pretty obvious that it's not 100% staged. Like most of the reactions are sort of genuine.
Like that, like Bad Grandpa and Bruno. Like
Yeah.
Bruno to a lesser degree, but a lot of things like that where it's like there's just a fine line there. Well,
I think Borat, for instance, is like pretty much 100% real. I don't think, with the exception of like the black costume.
no, but what I'm saying is that that bit's real, but it's a character that he's playing, so that's where.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
The character. Like going back, looping all the way back around, like pro wrestling. Actually, it's not like pro wrestling because it's all fake.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's still the boss of it. You see that?
Yeah.
You see the video of the it's still real to me. You see that? It was like speaking on the web for a long time ago. There's a wrestling convention and he was like, you know it's fake, but this dude just starts crying. Like, it's still
Really? Oh, I think I do remember that vaguely.
Wow.
Yeah, people who actually hold out that it is kind of like, I don't get this people. Because even the rest is like publicly stated, it's not real. So.
What's not real is the outcomes that they practice with.
And also most of the punches.
Yeah,
It's
I was
not
gonna say,
actually
and
contact.
it's like the fake slapping in the face.
It's real because that's they're not punching, so it's real and it's fake. If that makes sense.
Some wrestlers way better than others in terms of making them look real, or
I think
can you only be so talented?
Some wrestlers people don't want to wrestle because they always find out.
Oh, they actually drop them.
Like, yeah, they're not good athletes, and
Right.
people don't want to work as a rivalry.
Right.
Yeah, because I suppose there's been quite a lot of injuries throughout wrestling, unless they were fake injuries.
You know what I like in wrestling? I like the commentators, like, especially when you occasionally see them, but watch the camera will slide, because most of them behind the camera, when you do see them, and it's like, one guy's like, Elvis haircut, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
It's great.
How are we running?
About 4 minutes.
4 minutes, huh?
So, this sign off is going to happen in about 3.5 minutes.
Oh.
How about that?
What?
Looking back at our tapes, we haven't had the most successful sign offs.
Not for a while.
Do we need to sign off, or can we just wish the people were on the journey?
I mean, I don't know, like, I'm fine either way, I guess.
Sorry.
Are we going to do the other 4 minutes, though, or are we
You
going to do
got
the
something to
sign-off?
talk about. I'm just trying to fill gaps.
Something else to talk about. I don't know, 4 minutes.
Any dumb and dusters this week?
Oh,
No.
there is one you suggested.
There's gigantic newspapers. You know, you see people on the train, and like
Right.
you're reading your subtle, normal Daily Telegraph.
Mhm.
And you've got that one douchebag who's like, and he's like holding it over,
Right.
and it's like draping over to the other side. What
I
is the
understand what you're
point of that?
saying, but couldn't you just say newspapers in general at this point?
I agree with that. Newspapers.
I don't know if I would agree with that. So there's something about, you know, for a lot of people it's a tradition. It's something that gets them up in the
I
morning.
guess it's like
Especially on a
books,
Sunday
like you
morning.
don't need books anymore, but some people just prefer to have a physical copy. It's
Exactly.
like,
So you can't really call that dumb and dusty because there'll always be that demographic for it. Like, for
will there always be? You reckon in 20 years we're still going to have newspapers? Because doesn't like Newsweek go under? Or they don't go under, but they went pure online.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like Newsweek.
Maybe not always, but I don't think it's going to leave anytime soon. I don't think it's going to be a short-term sort of thing that always goes away. I think they're trying to push it, but
You know what would suck when they do go away? But if they do go away.
Crosswords and stuff.
No, well, I mean, no, because you can still do it online. But,
that's true. You ever do them telepathically or something like those little things, suction cups, but
I'm thinking like
Or just
the,
styles.
I'm thinking like the
20
handy,
years from now, come on.
Yeah.
I think the handy purposes for newspapers that aren't their primary purpose. Cleaning a window, wrapping sharp objects that need to be gone and
Fish and
gone
chips.
bin. Fish and chips, you know,
Flipping
or
paper
like
hats.
when I'm
Yeah,
when I'm seasoning my fish and like you put on the newspaper and you dip the fish and like, you know, tons of things that are not the newspaper's primary purpose that having a spend newspaper in the house can be good for. So wait, dumb and dusted large newspapers.
Yeah. So I was thinking that,
Large.
like the gigantic ones that just like they're annoying to everyone.
But were they ever useful? I think that they're always.
That's a good point because dumb and dusted is about something that used to be relevant and no longer is.
Well,
It's
wasn't it
always
they were
dumb.
relevant because they existed before the smaller ones? Before? I thought they were around before the smaller ones. And I thought you just been making something like that.
Right.
Maybe before trains.
Well, we'll say that's somewhat dumb.
You know what I don't like? When they
I
got
don't know.
newspapers with staples in them. That should piss me off.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Why do you do it?
What else is dumb and dusted? What about Discmans?
Discman.
Oh, Discman. I thought. Oh,
Like
sorry.
a portable CD player.
Oh.
Now
I think they
they're
are.
really stupid.
I think they're gone, aren't they?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, no, never listened to the store out. Okay, no, you scratch that one. Can't use that.
Yeah. No, I was actually. I thought you were saying they're still around. I was like, that's interesting. I'd probably still buy one just for laughs.
Just for nostalgia.
Yeah, I'm one of those hipsters. I like.
You sure they can't? They don't still make them
Probably
themselves.
mini disc. Nah, everything's MP3 USB. Come on. The new Sony Walkmans are just.
But you
like a
can
flip
still
phone.
buy.
They're just saying iPods, basically.
Yeah, more or less.
You
Yeah.
can still buy
What
CD
do
plays for your car. People want to listen to it, yeah.
Hey, why do you listen to CDs?
We might have to
Just plug in your
research this
iPod, like get a cable, it's cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. Download. I mean, download from iTunes.
So,
Oh, you got
so
a point, they shouldn't have
CD plays for your car.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, I agree with that one. You don't
Okay, settled.
And on that, enjoy yourselves.